Hello everyone and welcome back to 1% Better, a channel where we explore personal growth through meaningful books. Have you ever wondered, how can we become wealthy without losing our inner peace? Many people believe that becoming rich requires sacrifice. Sacrificing time, health, relationships, and even joy. But there is one thinker who offers a very different perspective. He believes that wealth is not simply about having a lot of money, and happiness is not something we should postpone until after we become successful. That person is Naval Ravikant. Naval was born in 1974 and grew up in an immigrant family from India to the United States. His childhood was not easy. After his parents divorced, life became difficult, uncertain, and financially challenging. Yet from that starting point, Naval rose to become a successful entrepreneur and one of Silicon Valley's most well-known angel investors. He invested early in major technology companies such as Twitter and Uber. He is also the founder of AngelList, a platform that helps startups raise capital and connect with investors. But what makes Naval truly special is not only his wealth or business achievements. What makes millions of people around the world listen to him is the way he speaks about wealth, freedom, and happiness with clarity, depth, and simplicity. To Naval, material wealth and inner peace do not have to be enemies. A person can build wealth, live freely, and still remain calm, light, and happy within. Naval has never written a traditional book himself. However, one of his dedicated followers, Eric Jorgensen, spent years collecting and organizing Naval's writings, interviews, and public thoughts. From that effort came the book The Almanack of Naval Ravikant. The book feels like a compact map for two of life's biggest questions. How do we become wealthy? And how do we live happily? If you have ever felt forced to choose between making money and being happy, between financial ambition and inner peace, this book may offer you a new way to look at life. Now let's begin. Part 1. How to get rich without relying on luck. One of Naval's most important ideas is this: making money is a skill. Many people think that to become rich, they must study business. But Naval makes an important distinction. Business itself is not a single skill, and shallow business courses often do not teach us how wealth is truly created. He also does not believe that hard work alone will make you rich. Hard work is necessary, but if you are moving in the wrong direction, working harder will only exhaust you. The saying, "the harder you work, the luckier you get," is only true when you are working on the right thing. According to Naval, wealth is not the result of random luck. Wealth becomes almost inevitable when you understand the right principles and apply them consistently over time. So what are those principles? Principle 1. Seek wealth, not money or status. First, Naval asks us to distinguish between three things: wealth, money, and status. Money is a tool for exchanging value. Status is your position within a social hierarchy. But wealth is something different. Wealth is owning assets that earn while you sleep. This means you no longer have to sell every hour of your day directly for money. You have created or acquired things that can continue to generate income even when you are not personally present. For example, a rental property can generate cash flow. Equity in a growing company can produce returns. A book, an online course, a piece of software, a patent, a high-quality content channel, or a personal brand can continue to create value long after the initial work is done. Today, assets are not limited to real estate or stocks. Assets can also be intellectual products, technology, content, personal brands, and scalable systems. If you only earn money by selling your time, your income will always be limited. There are only 24 hours in a day. No matter how high your hourly rate is, you are still tied to time. To become truly wealthy, you need to build assets. Principle 2. Be yourself. The second principle sounds simple, but it is difficult to practice. Be yourself. Many people struggle financially because they are trying to become copies of someone else. Someone studies a certain major, so they follow. Someone opens a shop, so they do the same. Someone creates trendy content so they chase the same trend. But when you merely imitate, you become replaceable. Naval believes that if you want lasting wealth, you must discover what is unique about you. Your talents, interests, experiences, way of thinking, and the fields in which you can grow exceptionally well. Do not only ask, which job pays the most? Ask instead, what do I do naturally well that other people find difficult? That difference is the foundation on which long-term wealth can be built. Some people earn a lot by selling their time, lawyers, doctors, athletes, consultants. But if their lifestyle rises as quickly as their income, they can still become trapped in a cycle of constantly working just to maintain that lifestyle. Your time, no matter how expensive, is not a true asset if it cannot be separated from your personal presence. So begin with yourself. Do not try to become the best player in someone else's game. Find the game where you have a unique advantage. Principle 3. Productize yourself. Naval has a famous formula. Productize yourself equals unique knowledge plus leverage. The phrase productize yourself may sound overly practical, as if we are turning ourselves into products. But that is not what Naval means. To productize yourself means to turn your knowledge, skills, experiences, and unique perspective into something that can reach more people. A book, a blog, a video channel, a podcast, software, an online course, a community, a creative product, or a business system. In other words, you are not just working once for one person. You are creating something that can help many people many times at a larger scale. Money can be understood as a social receipt. It is society's way of acknowledging the value you have contributed. When you help others solve problems, inspire them, or create something useful, society pays you back in the form of money. So the right question is not, how can I make money faster? The better question is, how can I create more value for more people in a more sustainable way? It is like planting a tree. Planting the seed is contribution. Caring for it is persistence. Harvesting is the result. Money is not the only goal to chase. It is the natural consequence of creating real value. How to discover your unique knowledge. Naval calls this specific knowledge that cannot easily be mass-trained, because it is formed through your personality, experiences, curiosity, interests, and natural abilities. To discover this kind of knowledge, you can begin with 4 practices. First, look back at your past. Ask yourself, what have I always found relatively easy that other people find difficult? You can also ask friends, colleagues, or family members what strengths they notice in you. Second, allow yourself to experiment and make mistakes. No one discovers their path by thinking alone. You need to try different roles, work with different kinds of people, accept different opportunities, and observe what truly fits. Third, reflect daily. What am I good at? What do I naturally spend time on? What can I focus on without feeling drained? What am I curious enough about to keep learning? Fourth, avoid the trap of trends. Unique knowledge is not about chasing the hottest industry. It is the intersection of natural ability, long-term curiosity, and value that society needs. For example, in the age of AI, many people chase speed. They create content quickly, produce more and more, and publish constantly. But without thinking, experience, editing, and responsibility, that content can easily become shallow, repetitive, and empty. What readers and listeners truly need is not only speed. They need depth, sincerity, and a human touch. To build real expertise, start with a strong foundation. Master the basics before chasing advanced techniques. Limit your focus to 1 or 2 key fields. Read consistently. Keep learning. Stay with the work long enough for the compound effect of knowledge to appear. Leverage. How to multiply your value. After you develop unique knowledge, you need leverage. Leverage is what amplifies your ability. As the famous saying goes, give me a place to stand and a lever long enough, and I will move the earth. Naval speaks of 3 main forms of leverage. The first is labor leverage. This means using people to scale value. A business with a strong team can accomplish far more than one individual alone. The second is capital leverage. This is the ability to use money to create more value. An investor or fund manager can raise capital and allocate it to profitable opportunities. The third, and perhaps the most powerful form of leverage today, is products with near zero marginal cost of reproduction. These are products that can be copied and distributed almost infinitely. Software, ebooks, online courses, videos, podcasts, newsletters, apps, and digital content. You create them once, but they can serve thousands or even millions of people. A video can be watched for years. A book can continue selling long after the author has finished writing it. Software can be downloaded by users all over the world. An online course can serve many students without requiring the teacher to teach it from scratch every time. However, all forms of leverage require two important qualities: credibility and accountability. If you have unique knowledge, take responsibility, and use leverage well, society will reward you in proportion to the value you create. At that point, you no longer need to be busy just to prove that you are working. You do not need meetings just for the sake of meetings. You do not need reports just to show how much work you have done. You can focus on the work that truly matters. The three big choices in life. Naval advises young people, especially at the beginning of their careers, to think carefully about three questions. Where do you live? Who do you live with? What do you do? These three choices deeply shape your life, yet many people make them casually, based on the crowd or other people's expectations. When choosing your work, look for something that feels like play to you. This does not mean the work will always be easy. It means the work fits your nature so well that you can keep doing it for a long time without feeling that you are losing your life. For Naval, retirement is not an age. Retirement is when you no longer sacrifice today for an imagined tomorrow. There are three ways to reach that state. First, build enough assets so that passive income covers your living expenses. Second, reduce your spending needs to a very low level. Third, do work you truly love so much that you no longer feel the need to escape from it. The third way may be the most ideal. When you can be yourself, use the right leverage, and work with joy, you have already touched freedom even while you are still working. Part 2. How to live happily. If in the first part, Naval says that making money is a skill, then in the second part he says something equally powerful. Happiness is also a skill. Happiness is not merely a random emotion that appears when everything outside goes our way. Happiness is a state that can be trained through how we think, choose, and live each day. According to Naval, much of our suffering comes from desire, from the feeling that we must obtain something else before we can be complete. We think, when I have more money, I will be happy. When I have higher status, I will be happy. When I receive more recognition, I will be happy. But if happiness is always placed in the future, the present will always feel lacking. One idea that strongly influenced Naval comes from Lao Tzu. Not feeling lacking is true wealth. Naval does not tell us to hate money. In fact, he suggests that if you despise money, money is unlikely to come to you. But he also warns us, if you live only for money, you may lose your peace. So earn money, but do not let greed control your life. One very practical piece of advice from Naval is this. When your income increases, do not rush to upgrade your lifestyle too quickly. Many people, after earning more, immediately buy a bigger house, a more expensive car, a fancier office, and more luxurious things. But when lifestyle grows faster than wealth, they still feel poor. And a person who constantly feels lacking will find it difficult to be happy. Two important practices for happiness. The first is learning to live in the present. When you are no longer pulled around by expectations, comparisons, and the feeling of lack, you can truly be here in this moment. You begin to feel more deeply the joy of meaningful work, the connection with people around you, and the peace within your own mind. Accepting reality does not mean giving up. It means you stop fighting what already is so you can act with greater clarity. The second is changing your habits. Stop complaining. Stop judging. Stop reacting with unconscious anger. Reduce negative thinking. Exercise. Meditate. Sleep well. Read. Be selective about the information you consume. And most importantly, learn to use your time consciously. Naval says that saving time is more important than saving money. Money can be earned again, but time that has passed will never return. When you truly understand the value of time, you will spend less of it on empty, short-term pleasures. You will choose things that help you become healthier, wiser, deeper, and freer. Naval also gives a memorable rule. When you must choose the harder path if it gives you a long-term advantage. And if you hesitate for too long, sometimes it is a sign that you do not truly want to do it. Once you have made a decision, act immediately. But after taking action, be patient with the results. The meaning of life is found in the journey. One fascinating part of Naval's philosophy is that he does not believe life has one fixed purpose for everyone. Each person must discover their own meaning, and sometimes the search for meaning is itself the meaning. You grow through trying, failing, learning, observing, loving, losing, rising again, and gradually understanding who you are. To live truthfully, to live fully in the present, and to create value through what is most unique about you. That is the path toward a life that is wealthy, free, and meaningful. These are some of the principles from Naval Ravikant that can help us build wealth not only financially, but also internally. Some people may hear these ideas and think, but this book does not give a concrete method for getting rich. It does not tell me which stock to buy, where to invest, or what business to start. That is true, and perhaps that is exactly why it is valuable. No one can hand you a fixed formula for wealth and guarantee that it will fit your life. What Naval gives us is not a shortcut to quick money, but a set of foundational principles for building a free and sustainable life. After listening, the most important thing may not be how many of Naval's quotes you remember. The most important thing is whether you begin to ask yourself, have I truly been myself? Have I discovered what I naturally do well? Have I created value for others through my own expertise? Have I learned to use leverage to multiply that value? And am I sacrificing the present in pursuit of some vague future? In a world that constantly pushes us to be faster, richer, and more impressive, it is easy to trade away our time, health, peace, and even our integrity just to gain a little more. But Naval's greatest message is this: money and status are not the final destination. The real destination is found on the path itself, in a way of living where you are free, where you do what you love, and where you use your uniqueness to create value and help others. When you live truthfully, keep learning, work with joy, and contribute consistently, wealth and happiness can arrive as natural consequences. I hope that after this video, every morning when you wake up, you remember that you have a choice. The choice to live more truthfully, more freely, and more peacefully. To do what you love with the people you cherish, in the place where you truly belong. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone who may need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to receive our latest videos every week. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.